Hello, la pause menopause, or I should say it in a French accent. La pause menopause.
That's so good. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I like your French accent. I think we only ever speaking English. So
Episode number 2.
episode number 2. How exciting! What are we talking about today, Jo? What are you talking about?
We said, I mean, we'll probably go off on a tangent as we
More than
usually
likely,
do.
because my brain is spiral anyway. So it
But
tends
we
to go off.
said that this week we were going to start talking, because I know we'll have numerous conversations about this, about the biggie, about menopause and weight gain.
Yeah, it's
Body
a
image.
big problem and a big topic. Big topic. It's a big topic for women in general, I think.
Totally.
Body image and weight. But I think when you do hit the menopause, it's a worry and a trouble, isn't it? And it's something you can't always control. I've had that a lot. It's like I woke up one morning and it's like I had a completely different body.
Yeah, I hear that a lot too.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot too. What is, well, how do I even say it? The thing is, I'm very conscious of the fact that neither of us, I would say, looking from the outside in, struggle with our weight. And I look at you and I think, gosh, you're a skinny mini. I'm sure you didn't even have any menopause related weight issues. But it's, as we know, it's not even all about that, is it? It's about how we feel, how we... Tell us, what's your experience with, I mean, menopausal weight gain? Did you gain any weight?
So I'm going to backtrack a little bit, because when I was at school, I was a really large girl, and I was really overweight. And I remember I couldn't fit into any jeans, and it was a time when people didn't have big sizes really, you know, and the only jeans I could afford, trousers I could buy were Marks and Spencer's, and they had elasticated waist things. And I remember going on a diet when I was about 16, and when I got to about 17, I'd lost enough weight to buy a first pair of jeans. So just to give you a bit of a backstory on me. So I did have a big weight issue, and then I really upped and downed it over my 20s and 30s. And I think body image wise it was hard accepting my femininity and my feminine body, trying to battle to have some kind of skinny, you know, like the really skinny models in the 80s and stuff like that.
That was the era of Kate Moss.
Yeah, Kate Moss, like, you know, and that kind of thing. And I wasn't going to go down the route of drug taking just to have, you know, a skinny body, but I really yo-yoed, and then I had my children, and that was another big trauma. Oh my God, I've got to put weight on. I have to, because I've got to have a child, and that puts weight on, blah, blah, blah. So I've always had a kind of odd relationship until I kind of got, I think, into my 40s. I'd had my children, and I kind of found a rhythm that I was quite comfortable with in terms of my body and the way it was. And I kind of had just about accepted it. Then the menopause came, so the perimenopause arrived. And although I didn't, how can I put this? I didn't have huge weight gain. I did have kind of water retention. And it was more the sort of skin, everything sort of shifted and changed.
Yeah, the skin's a big
The skin is a big issue. And I think everything starts to sink down a little bit. And the skin gets different, and it gets a bit more saggy and crocodile-y. And I did put some weight on. I think more my body was shifting into a different shape.
Yeah,
I think that's
more,
what I had. You know, I had more of an issue with that. So you know, your legs change, your bum changes, your tummy changes, things change. And I think, I mean, coupled with that, this is big subjects. I think we'll have to come back to these subjects, because I'll ask you yours in a minute. But it arrived at the same time as I had skin cancer. So I was diagnosed with a melanoma, and I'd already got a bit of a body confidence issue going on with the menopause. So the fact that I couldn't then go in the sun and hide any of my body with a lovely suntan, so that anything that happened to be not quite as I would like it was covered in a delicious brown color, I couldn't even do that. And I was like, oh my God, where can I go then to feel comfortable in my body? And so I think it really hit my confidence. Even though I hadn't put on a huge amount of weight, I could feel the body shifting, and I felt, you've talked to me about feeling bloated Did you ever feel that before you got into the menopause?
Oh, at times, but not in the same way as I did in the menopause. I mean, hearing you speak there, it's it is a shift, isn't it? Things change. Things change on every level.
Yeah.
But for me, for example, whenever I've put on weight in life,
Yeah.
it's never been around the tummy.
Oh,
But
right.
in the menopause,
Okay.
it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly, to suddenly be carrying weight around the middle, that's never something that I've ever had to deal with in my life.
Right.
A lot of it
yeah,
wasn't necessarily weight in terms of fat gain or
Yeah,
anything like that.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was just, I'm going to give too much information. Flatulence, wind,
Yeah,
gas,
yeah.
water
Well,
retention.
I think that's part of it.
All that
I
kind
think
of
that's part of the menopause. I think there are things that I think there are body issues, body things that happen that you can't control as much of.
For sure.
You know,
Blimey.
the wetting yourself, the farts, the sweating, all sorts of issues that go on. And suddenly you think, I have no control over my own body anymore. It's a bit like when you're pregnant.
Totally.
And you think, oh my God, I literally can't, all I can control maybe is brushing my teeth, or being able to, the other thing is put makeup on. You can't do it without glasses on after a while. I mean, I don't know how.
You come out and you look like Aunt Sally or the pink.
Like a clown. But there were so many levels of control that I think disappear. So for
All
me,
at
it's
once.
all at once. And you think, hold on a minute. And then you're kind of expected to keep your shit together and still look reasonably presentable and attractive, and you kind of want to at the same time, but there's also part of it that just wants to melt into some kind of huge sleeping bag and just go, do you know what, I'm just watching Netflix for 2 years and that's it.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Mm.
Because there's sort of almost like a conflict there in that there's the self-acceptance side. So there's a side of me that goes, you know what? It is completely normal for you to put on weight, but then there's the other side that goes, yeah, but there's a fine line between going self-acceptance and then go, fuck it, I'm just going to live in Haribo sweets and pajamas for a week. It's
the rest of my life.
Because I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready to just let everything go. And also, like you, I've got a history. That I'm not happy when I'm just I have an emotional relationship with food. It is the thing I go to. That's another thing with the menopause. When I'm stressed, when I'm low, food is the thing.
What do you go for when you're stressed?
What do you everything.
Really?
When there's something up with me because
really?
I've still got that.
You see, I'm the opposite. Something's up with me because I don't eat. So I'll go off my food totally. And I remember I split up with my boyfriend of years ago. If you hear some panting, it's not us, by the way, it's my dog. He's decided to locate himself near to us. So video-wise, he's behind us there, so you can hear him. And on the podcast, I think you'll hear so it's not heavy breathing, it is my dog. But years ago, I split up with a boyfriend who I was quite serious about. We just bought a house together in London and stuff. And he went off with a friend of ours, and it was a real shock. And it kind of wasn't, and it was at the same time. But anyway, I went into a spiral of not eating because that's my emotional reaction. And I lost so much weight in the space of 2 weeks. None of my clothes fit me. And my boss actually came to me at one point to my desk in the office and gave me a banana and said, please, Charlotte, just eat this and let me see you eat it.
Oh, really?
And I was like, I just can't. He said, you haven't eaten in 2 weeks and we can all see it. You need to eat something. This is really bad.
It's how we all deal with things.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely don't eat. And you can really tell to the point that some of my closest friends, when they know that I'm in a bit of a crisis point, this is even now.
They bring hot pots round to that.
They'll send me messages and say, what have you eaten today? They'll say, how are you? How is it today? What have you eaten?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and genuinely they're worried.
But then when you say, we're going off on a bit of a tangent here, but I think it's all linked, isn't it? When you say when you were younger, you were bigger.
Yeah.
Why was that then?
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Were your habits different then?
So I was never a skinny baby. I was I was always one of the slightly larger babies, so much so that they chucked me out of ballet.
I
Because
shouldn't laugh.
it's funny. It's actually, although it did
Bless
traumatize me
you.
slightly for life, but
Bless you, that's terrible.
they did. They said that, well, I don't think this was the reason. They said that I made them all laugh, which I kind of did because I had to be the clown. Otherwise, I wouldn't fit in at all, kind of thing. So I had to kind of fit in somehow. But they were all literally a third of my size, to the point that, yes. So when I was, and it was just, I don't know, I suppose I came up brought up in a post-war household, and my parents really forced that you've got to finish your plate scenario.
Yeah, we had
that
that
was
too.
one of the things. Food was a big thing in that house. My mum is a foodie, my dad is a foodie. And I didn't really know what restraint was then, in terms of healthy eating. Did we? Possibly, yes, but 1970s healthy, whatever that was. And so when I was 6, we did this performance. This is a tangent, but it's relevant. We did a performance called The Watering Can Fairies, and it was at Ragley Hall in near Ulster in the UK, and we all had a costume, right? No, red leotards with red like taffeta all around here, right? And my mum made me my outfit so it would fit me. My outfit was 3 times bigger than anyone else's.
Oh no!
And
that stays with you?
It stays with me. So I had to do
you.
this bloody ridiculous dance, which I was rubbish at because I wasn't very good at ballet anyway. Always dreamt of being a ballet dancer. That'll never happen. But I did this do, tip the watering can over, do, tip the watering can over. And I was so large compared to all the other girls. Anyway, I didn't carry on. I left and I went horse riding instead, where no one really cares if you're big or small. It's just, can you get on a horse and can you ride it? Perfect. It doesn't matter about your body image. It's how you communicate with the horse. So that worked for me. And I think I got to a point where body became an issue. I was always at slightly larger, like I said. My friends, my main friends at school were quite large as well. Taller, bigger girls. I was this height at 10. So I was a bigger girl anyway. And I think that was one of the issues. I decided to go vegetarian at 13, and my mum had not got a clue about that. And so, this is before vegetarianism became popular, and no one really knew what to do in terms of protein and in terms of anything like that. So it was a little bit hit and miss what I was eating, I think, and that didn't help. And so I think I put a lot of weight on in that core hormonal time. Yeah. Right. So you're going through adolescence. Yeah, exactly. And then it didn't really matter because I was in the hockey team and everyone else was quite large, but I could run quickly. And so it didn't really matter that I was a bit larger. Because I was very athletic as well, etc., etc. But I did get to a point where I was in size 18 clothes, and I know you won't believe me now, but I was in size 18 clothes. I remember going to try on a dress for a wedding. This is hilariously funny, actually, for my cousin's wedding, and we went into Next, and my mum picked out this beautiful flowery dress and brought it into the changing rooms. I went, Mum, there's absolutely no way on earth I can wear that dress. I would look like the marquee. Oh no! And I think my mum at that point realised that I had got quite big and that I was quite sensitive about it. And I was 16, and I decided I had to go on a diet. We went on holiday that summer, and I spent the whole holiday in a massive shirt to hide my body. And I kept looking at these women who were really thin, and I just was like, I'm never going to get to that point. I'm never going to get there. And so my mum, bless her, took me to the doctors, and this was with the nutrition at that time, because bear in mind, I'm 53 now, nearly 54, so this is a while ago. Yeah. So the doctor at the time was pretty good, and he turned around and said, okay, it has to be really controlled. We're going to give you half a grapefruit before this meal and this meal, which will help break down the fat. Big time. Strict diet. Tablets as well to help with the hunger pangs. And I was quite a big snacker then. I am no longer a snacker. I don't snack, and we talked about that recently. I don't snack at all. I don't know if it's linked to that, maybe. But I was on a strict diet, and it took a long time, and I had to do a month on, a month off, a month on, a month off. Then I did 2 months on and a month off. So it was really staggered over a long period of time. And I did lose a lot of weight. So I went down from however many stones, size 18 was maybe 12 and a half, nearly 30. I think it was nearly 13 stone.
And how have you
Yeah.
managed to keep that off? Do you work? Do you feel
Wow.
you have to work hard to keep your weight?
Oddly enough, now, not so
No.
much.
Things
But
have
I
changed.
did go through a big time where I thought I needed to. And I actually had that expression of, oh, I just look at a bar of chocolate and put weight on, which isn't true.
Yeah.
But I think I got myself so fixated on controlling the food. So it was limit anorexia, but way more bulimic. I really made myself quite ill through that.
Right.
When I was in the university years. And I kind of eked myself bit by bit off that. But I still, I think to this day, will get up in the morning and have a quick body scan. And there'll be a, is it a good day, bad day go on? And then I go,
and is that related to how you look in terms
yes.
of the fat or bloated
yes.
or not?
And one of my areas, this comes back to you, is the tummy. So I will look at the tummy as one of my first areas. But I now tell myself to shut up, obviously, because the little voice goes, oh my God, just shut the fuck up.
That's an old boy. Yeah.
This is an old story. This body is fit and healthy, goes out running nearly every day, has had 2 children, and does a massive amount of things every day with it. You're fine.
Yeah. And so exactly that, to bring it back round to like now and the menopause and all these, we were speaking about it earlier, sort of feelings. It's funny, isn't it? These feelings that resurface as we're going through the menopause and perhaps putting on weight, or these changes are taking place. How quite often all these old associated triggers, all these old associations that remind you of being a teenager, isn't it? And everything you went through at the other side of this hormonal shift when you were going into it, in the teenage years. But how you dealt with it? You started to talk about it there in terms of, you obviously speak to yourself differently, you know, mindset, but also habits. How do you deal with overcome, some of the things, the way you feel about putting on weight, how do you maintain a healthy weight?
I don't often put on weight now, and when there is a fluctuation, on the whole, I lose weight.
Right.
And when I lose weight, it isn't attractive because it goes right off my face. So now I've got a slightly older woman's face. I look just like my mum, but I lose too much weight, which is not a bad thing. My mum's gorgeous.
But you see that
it's too early to look like my mum.
But when women age, don't you? It's like I always used to look at this sort of old grannies and think, you get the ones that just naturally go really, really gaunt and skinny, and then you get the sort of
you get the bigger ones. Yeah. I mean, I think that's just the law of the land, isn't it? I mean, I look at my mum. My mum doesn't do very much sport. I haven't said that. So she's nearly 81 and she plays tennis twice a week, which is not bad, I think. And she, sometimes 3 times a week, and she goes out and she plays her sets and everything. It's really, really good. But she's not. She adopts the Joe Brandt theory of housework, which is the whole of life, which is fuck it, that'll do. So she'll do a minimum. I once bought my mum a DVD to do some yoga at home because she complains to me that you're the best teacher, Charlotte. She's trying to get out of doing it, going, so if I can't do it with you, I'm not going to do it with anyone. It's like, well, that's just a perfect excuse, isn't it, Mum? But she said, so I bought her a DVD of, I think it was a newsreader that did this whole yoga thing where she had her teacher there and she did it and blah, blah. So I sent her this DVD. I said, it's for beginners, blah, blah, blah. Did you do it? She went, well, I watched it having a gin and tonic. And I was like, Mum, you're supposed to do the yoga, do the actual practice. So, she was, I don't know, how old was she at the time? In her 60s. And I was just supposed to do the practice where I was really relaxed.
It was like osmosis.
The relaxation and the gin together was perfect. I'll try and do the DVD. I've watched it. I told myself I should watch it once, so I kind of get the gist of it. Yeah, right, okay. I think she did it once after that, no more. But yeah, I'm conscious I lose weight because I tend to get wrapped up in what I'm doing and I don't eat enough. That's one of my problems.
It's not good
either. Not intentional. No, it's not an intentional, I'm going to lose weight kind of scenario. But my maintain weight, I don't tend to look much at what I eat. I'm still a vegetarian and I know what works for me and what doesn't. You also have to put into the mix. I've probably created this plus a little bit of inheritance. I have irritable bowel syndrome, chronic. So I have to watch some of the stuff that I eat, which is fine. And I've worked out what I can.
Have you always had that, or is that menopause?
I think I've probably always had that, and it got really bad when I was mid-20s to about 40, really, really bad. And I managed that a lot through yoga and meditation now, and also some of the things I've completely eliminated from my diet. So I know that now. So going into the menopause, I'd already eliminated some of those things, which was helpful. So for me, anything like champagne, white wine, beer, cider, anything like that, no.
Everything's bubbles.
Anything bubbles and
Carbonated,
fermented,
okay.
anything that's got
okay.
long roots to it that are difficult to digest, that's really difficult for me. So I'd already eliminated all of that. And then what really works for me, and I've been doing this for quite some time now, is what they call intermittent fasting.
Yeah, look, I've heard a lot of people. I've tried a little bit
and
of it
it
as well.
really works. For me, it works. So the idea is you are supposed to, anyone who's listening and watching this, take some advice on this, because it does depend on your body type and your age. But you are supposed to work out the hours that are right for you. And I've kind of worked mine out that I should eat around about 11:30. So I don't have breakfast in the morning. I don't have any breakfast. I do have coffee or a tea and water and things, but I don't eat until between 11 and 12, let's say. That's kind of my eating point. And then I very often will only eat in the evening. I'm not a 3-meal-a-day person. It's very rare I'll do that. But I have the 2 good meals. So I'll, have proper big salads and, bread, and, I'm big into carbs. I love my carbs, and I have that, and I don't tend to snack. And if I have anything in the afternoon, it's literally a small square of black chocolate.
And is that conscious, or is it just?
It's just the way that my body. I've found that my body really functions well on that. So I'll get up and I do my yoga and I'll do my exercise. Then I eat. Then I tend to work in the afternoon, and then I'll eat about. I try and eat earlier if I can, but it's usually 7:30.
Yeah, we eat quite late here, don't we?
Yeah, but I know that lots of people say, you shouldn't eat late at night, right? Especially menopause, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then a girlfriend of mine who's as skinny as a pin, I mean, she's super, super thin. She's a sports teacher, ballet teacher, blah, blah, blah. She'll snack through the day. She has a massive meal at 11 o'clock at night. And then it's fine for her.
Yeah. I guess we're all different, isn't it?
And I think we're
and
all
if you're
different.
doing the intermittent fasting thing, I guess, regardless of whether you eat at 7, 8, whatever, you're then giving your body a break.
Absolutely. And interestingly enough, the other evening, a few days ago, we had to eat late because I was dropping my daughter off at a restaurant she was going to work at. They were doing the service first, and we were going to eat like when everyone had kind of gone, and we were just about going. So that's the classic restaurant scenario. Terrible for your weight because you eat late, right?
Yeah.
So we sat down at the table, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. We were just coming up to 11:15 at night to eat. And I wake up in the middle of the night. It completely disturbs my sleep pattern then.
Yeah.
And then I feel sluggish the next day, and it just.
What I wondered, because we eat late at night, is what part it's playing in my night sweats. I mean, you might know the answer. I don't know, but I wonder if it's related. I've noticed if I eat a lot of sugar, I think it's linked that I'm sweating more and waking up more.
I think it depends on the different women, because I think, alcohol can be a no-no, or it can be okay in moderation. Sugar can be a no-no, or it can be okay in moderation. I found salt is really bad for me. Too much salt.
I eat a lot of salt.
So if I have I love pizza, absolutely love pizza. And I really adopt the eat, pray, love strategy of if you put too much weight on, you just buy some bigger jeans. That's my strategy. But if I ever have a pizza, when I do, and I regularly do, I know I'm going to wake up sweating and hot in the night.
Yeah,
because it's my body releasing the salt from the cheese that's there.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
salt could be. I mean, I sweat a lot, and so I think I need a lot of salt.
I was going to add, we went on a walk runs thing last Friday, didn't we? And I think I came back and I was slightly glowing.
Oh my God! But I've always sweated.
You've always sweated, so yeah.
And then the menopause is just like, I mean, let's just speak about that in another one. But at the moment, the sweats. But the same I do a lot of running. I'll do a lot of long trail runs and stuff in the summer, and I actually take salt tablets because the lack of salt because I sweat so much, I'm
Ah,
cramping, but it's interesting, it could well be
That's
something that might be
interesting.
worth looking into for the night sweats.
Yeah. I mean, I know that, again, I'm going to come back to individual. I think the
It's a good,
difficulty is when you go to a doctor or you go to any expert or nutritionist or whatever, they'll give you the blanket thing that is
doesn't
right
work
for your.
for
It
everyone,
doesn't
yeah.
work for everyone. I think that's the problem, and I think it really is, unfortunately, a bit hit and miss, in terms of I'm going to try this and see if it affects me, and if it doesn't, fantastic. I know I can eat at that
Do you
time.
not
eat
think
that
that
day.
it's a bit like almost every aspect of the menopause? I
Yes.
mean, whether it be nutrition, whether it be sleep, whether it be
Yeah.
hot flushes, whether it be joint pain,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It is very much, people
Joint
have
pain.
miracle cures for everything, but it's
might
what
work for
works
you.
for one
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily work for
Yeah.
somebody else, isn't it? It's
I mean, the
trial and
joint
error
pain,
and acceptance.
that could be a whole episode in itself. The joint pain. You suddenly wake up, don't you? And you go,
Oh,
I'm in the body of a 92-year-old here. This is ridiculous. This is not funny anymore.
no. And injuries and the lack
Yeah.
of collagen has
Oh,
played a huge
man.
part in injuries.
I mean, at one time we
Ridiculous.
should probably do a face yoga thing. So I'm big into face yoga. I love all of that, and that's great for the collagen in the face and for the detoxing and stuff. But the collagen in the body and the just the
I would
lovely
like the face yoga.
flexibility in the joints and stuff. You suddenly do, don't you? Wake up and think, what has happened to my knees?
Oh God, yes.
It is just one of those things, and it lasts for a good time. I don't have very much issues with it now.
Oh, you come out of it?
Yes, I think I've come out of it.
Oh, please.
I've come out of it, and I don't know if that is because I've got that far in the cycle now, or I take some bits and bobs of. I take
what do you take?
what's huile d'onagre in
Cod liver oil?
English?
No.
Primrose oil. I think it
Primrose
is.
oil, yeah.
Primrose oil. I take little tablets of that. I take spirulina and maca mixed together, which is really good because it's good for the protein and energy as well. But it's also the maca mixed in with the spirulina is good for the heart, because this is another thing that I didn't know about, but doctor friends of mine have told me that when you go through the menopause, it's a little known fact that women really have an increased level of heart attack and heart issues, because the hormonal imbalances and what you're going through in your body affects your heart health. And so the nutrition can really help with that. And these complements, this spirulina maca scenario, it's just like superfoods basically that become quite accessible and popular. I take that every day, and then when I remember, I take it less now because I don't have quite as many clicky joint issues, because I am vegetarian as well. I have to be careful of that. But I also take litotan, which is a kind of algae, a red algae, and you can buy it in all sorts of forms, and that's really good for your joint health, your bone and joint health. So I've been taking that, and I find that, I mean, again, pinch of salt, literally, because this is my way of doing it. Jill's way will be different, your way of doing it, but
pinch of salt, but not salt, because
pinch of salt, not
salt doesn't agree with that.
Oh yeah.
So if you were to, because we'll come back to this again.
Oh,
for
again
There's
and again.
so much we could speak about when it comes to
I think
weight,
so.
body image, not just menopause, but like I think middle age women, aging. I mean, it all plays a part, doesn't it? When it comes to how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our body.
You're in this lovely outfit. I'm in this new dress that I've got. I was determined, especially when I got the skin cancer diagnosis, that I wasn't going to down dress, and I wasn't going to just become a bag lady. We're not going to tell you where we live, but we do have these neighbours, and I kind of benchmark myself on their level of clothing, because if ever I get to that stage, I think I'm just going to have to retire. They won't be.
No, because they'll be afraid.
They're French, and they really, I don't even know if they have the internet, but yeah, I kind of benchmark myself on that sort of bag lady look, and I think if ever I get to that level, I need to just really crumble in.
It's to make yourself.
It's not for anybody else.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
Decorating your temple.
Make yourself feel good. Our bodies are aging. Things do change. It is okay to put on weight, even the joint pain, everything. But it's about sort of how we still feel good despite that, isn't it? And if a pair of dangly earrings and some nice floating
Yeah,
clothes
okay.
make us feel
Mind
better.
you, and I think this is a good one to finish on because there is a French woman called Ginette Bidard.
Was this the woman with the jewellery?
No,
Oh,
this
it's a
isn't the
different
one with the jewelry. This is a woman who a friend of mine sent me a video of. You can find it on YouTube. And bless her cottons, but she's in her, I think, 90s when this was filmed, right? And my friend's caption underneath was, "Do you think she knew the telly was coming round? And that's why she put her makeup on." Right?
What is she?
Oh my God. So she's really quite thin. She runs every day and she does yoga on the beach, right?
Yeah.
And she said, and I thought of you because she's got blonde hair, but it's a wig. Hers is a total wig that she's put
Love
on.
it. Love it.
She's got bright turquoise blue
Oh,
eyeshadow on, big black sort of mascara that's gone
Fabulous.
pretty much everywhere, and the lips are
Oh, the-
bright red, and they've kind of gone all over the place. And she speaks to camera. You'd think the cameraman would have gone, "Do you know what? We could help you out with your
maybe
makeup."
next week we could do that.
No, no. But a girlfriend of mine sent me this and said, "Look at this. This is a classic. I thought of you." And I'm like,
Oh.
nice. So one of my things is I don't ever want to get to that point. And so all of the girlfriends on this like particular trip, when we found this video and we watched it all together, we were wetting ourselves laughing. We made a pact to say,
Tell
if
me.
ever
Tell me if I go too far.
I look like that, you have to stop me and tell me. So but my big thing to finish us both
Yeah.
is body confidence, difficult to have in the menopause. And I think you have to find your way of feeling really good about it. So one of mine was I get really nice oils for my body. I have nice makeup. I buy not expensive, but colourful dresses and and I look after my temple. I regard my body as a bit of a temple, and I dress it up for me, for no one else, but for
I like
me.
that. When you say that, that makes me think. It came to mind almost like treating yourself, because that to me is treating yourself, and that's what I remind myself. Even although I want to sometimes sit on the couch and eat my body weight in Haribo sweets, that's not really treating myself. Even although it's easy to tell yourself it is, isn't it? It's not.
Do you see, I'm really
But
lucky. I
putting
don't
on the
like
nice
Haribo.
dresses.
I'm so lucky. I don't like Haribo.
You are lucky.
I don't
tell
like
me
any
you don't
sweets.
like Haribo sweets.
I don't. I really genuinely don't. I
Oh.
really. I like licorice. I like pure licorice.
Cake, sweets, anything like that.
I like a good cake. I do like a good cake, and I like a good biscuit, but a good one, right? So like a proper digestive with chocolate on top. Oh, I watched this thing on telly the other day, and they were doing white chocolate digestive biscuits.
Oh,
That's sacrilegious, I think. I don't think you should do that. Would you say yes to that?
Oh, I'm saying yes.
I would say a big fat no to that.
Why?
White chocolate. I don't think we can be friends anymore.
Lovely.
I think we might have to cut our friendship short. It's going to be really short.
Right, so are we for or against the white chocolate digestive?
Comments underneath, please. White chocolate digestives.
Oh, I can
no.
get them with a cup of tea.
Ah,
Picture the white
no.
chocolate. Oh,
Just in time.
I'm
the
gonna
dog
rock
came
it.
in. Here we
Right.
go. Right.
You probably need to
Wrap
round
it up.
this off. But so the takeaway from today is what? Rocker, what's your
Takeaway from today is do what feels right for you, and don't really worry about what anyone else is saying. The dog's now completely destroying the place.
On that note, bye. Rocker, we love you. Rocker.